Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine someone who doesn't just build companies, right?
Right.
But actually creates whole new industries, someone who's, constantly in the headlines.
Yeah, often walking that line between, say, being this amazing innovator
Mhm.
and, well, a figure of controversy.
Exactly. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the life and the ventures of Elon Musk.
And our guide for this is a pretty comprehensive audiobook biography, Elon Musk, The Relentless Visionary.
Uh,
It's very detailed, chronological,
Mhm.
takes you right from his childhood up to, well, pretty much now.
And our mission for you listening is to sort of pull out the key insights from all that material.
Hmm.
We'll look at the big moments, some surprising facts maybe, and that relentless vision that seems to drive him.
So you can get the essentials. Basically, we'll cover the highs, the lows, the controversies, too. Just laying out the journey as the source presents it.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Pretoria, South Africa, 1971. That's where Elon Reeve Musk was born.
Right, to Mae Musk, she was a model and dietitian from Canada, and Errol Musk, a South African electromechanical engineer.
And the book talks about his early traits.
Oh, yeah. It really emphasizes this insatiable curiosity, a deep love for reading. Apparently, he'd just get completely lost in science fiction encyclopedias.
All right, just absorbing
That
everything.
really became foundational for him, kind of shaping his whole outlook early on.
And then there's this pretty amazing story from when he was just 10. He taught himself to code on a Commodore VIC-20, which, was one of those early home computers.
Wow, at 10?
Yeah. And get this, by the time he was 12, he actually sold a video game he'd made called Blastar for $500.
Okay, that's incredible. That's his first taste of entrepreneurship right there, isn't it?
Exactly. The book must really highlight that spark.
It absolutely does. It's like, here's the first time he solved a problem, created something, and, got rewarded. But his childhood also had real challenges. The biography describes him as, well, shy. Apparently bullied quite a bit at school. Said his early years were pretty lonely. And then his parents' divorce sort of isolated him even more, pushing him deeper into those books and computers. They were kind of his refuge.
Right, that makes sense. And that feeling, maybe the isolation, leads to this great escape the book mentions.
Exactly. At 17, this is 1988, he makes a big move to Canada. Goes to Queen's University in Ontario.
Which also conveniently helped him avoid mandatory military service in South Africa at the time.
That too, yeah. But what's really key is his academic path there. So 2 years at Queen's, then he transfers to the University of Pennsylvania, gets 2 degrees, actually, physics and economics from Wharton.
Impressive. But then he makes a really sharp turn, doesn't he? Stanford.
Yeah, this is classic Musk, according to the source. He gets into a PhD program at Stanford and leaves after just 2 days.
He does.
Yeah. The book frames it less as impulsive and more like he just saw the massive opportunity with the internet boom happening right then. He chose real-world action over the traditional path, a pattern we definitely see again and again.
So the internet calls, and he answers. His first official company, Zip2. He starts this with his brother, Kimball, in '96.
Right. And Zip2 was basically providing online business directories and maps for newspapers.
Kind of like an early Google Maps for businesses aimed at newspapers.
Sort of, yeah. The source definitely calls it ahead of its time.
And it worked out.
It did pretty well. Compaq bought Zip2 in 1999 for $307 million.
Wow.
And Elon's share from that was about $22 million. Not bad for a first go.
Not bad at all. But
Yeah.
he didn't, kick back and relax.
Nope. Straight on to the next thing, X.com, an online financial services email payment company.
Okay. Precursor to online banking as we know it.
In a way, yeah. And its story gets interesting because it merged with another company, Confinity.
And Confinity had.
They had developed PayPal.
Ah, okay. So that's where PayPal comes in.
Right. Now, there were internal tensions, apparently a recurring theme in his early ventures, and he actually got ousted as CEO. Yeah, but even so, when eBay bought PayPal in 2002 for $1.5 billion,
He still did okay.
he walked away with a cool $180 million.
Okay, so $180 million. Young guy. What do you do with that?
That's the big question, isn't it? And the book makes it clear, for Musk, conventional thinking just wasn't in the cards.
No island, no fleet of sports cars.
Well, maybe some later, but not with this money. His mind was already, way beyond that, on really huge challenges.
Like space.
Exactly. With that $180 million, he founded Space Exploration Technologies Corp., SpaceX, in 2002.
And the goals weren't small, I take it.
Audacious is the word the book uses. Make space travel cheaper and, eventually colonize Mars. Just like that.
Just like that, easy peasy. But those early SpaceX years, they weren't smooth sailing, right?
Oh, far from it.
Yeah.
The book calls them brutal. SpaceX had 3 rocket launch failures in a row.
3 failures, that must have been tense.
Absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
They came incredibly close to bankruptcy multiple times. The source really frames these as these major tests of his conviction.
That belief in the impossible, almost.
Totally. It shows a level of risk tolerance that's just off the charts.
And that story about him pouring basically all his PayPal money into SpaceX and Tesla, needing to borrow rent money.
Yeah, the book mentions that. It really drives home the all-in mentality, no safety net.
The personal stakes must have felt immense.
Unimaginable for most people.
Yeah.
But it also kind of forged his reputation, didn't it? Someone who bets everything on the vision.
And then finally, a breakthrough.
Yes. In 2008, after all that struggle, the Falcon 1 rocket successfully reached orbit. That was huge.
At the turning point.
Absolutely. And it directly led to NASA giving SpaceX this massive $1.6 billion contract to fly cargo to the International Space Station.
Which then paved the way for, well, even bigger things.
Exactly. Fast forward to 2020, and SpaceX is launching NASA astronauts to the ISS on their Crew Dragon.
Becoming the first private company ever to do that.
Precisely. It's amazing how that directly connects back to those initial, almost crazy-sounding goals from 2002. Making space accessible.
What's kind of mind-blowing is that while SpaceX is going through all that drama, he starts another massive venture. In 2004, he gets involved with a small electric car startup, Tesla Motors.
Right. Founded by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Musk wasn't a founder, but he invested heavily early on, became chairman, and eventually CEO and product architect.
And Tesla, back then, people weren't exactly lining up for electric cars, were they?
Not at all. Massive skepticism. Critics thought EVs were like golf carts.
Yeah.
Impractical. Niche.
And the company itself struggled.
Oh, yeah. Big financial troubles, production nightmares. Very similar to early SpaceX in some ways.
But again, the book points to his leadership.
Yeah, it credits his unyielding vision, is the phrase used, and his super hands-on, sometimes controversial leadership style with getting them through it. Really pushing against the grain.
And push they did. The Roadster, then the Model S, Model 3, they really changed the game.
Totally. They proved electric cars could be desirable, high performance, mainstream even.
And the impact on the auto industry.
Revolutionary. Tesla didn't just join the industry. It forced the entire industry to pivot towards electric and became, one of the most valuable companies on the planet.
Which in turn made Musk's personal wealth just skyrocket. Richest man in the world, off and on. So, okay, he's running SpaceX, reshaping space travel. He's running Tesla, revolutionizing cars. Is he done?
And not even close. It's actually kind of staggering when you list them out. While running those 2 huge companies, he's also launching.
Go on.
Solar City in 2006 for solar energy, which later merged into Tesla.
Right, the sustainable energy angle.
Then Neuralink in 2016, brain-computer interfaces, trying to, link humans and AI.
Whoa, okay.
The Boring Company, also 2016, digging tunnels to try and solve traffic.
Like glamorous, but maybe practical.
We'll see. He co-founded OpenAI back in 2015, focusing on friendly AI research, though his relationship with it has evolved.
Right, that's a whole other story now.
And then, of course, the really high-profile one, buying Twitter in 2022 for $44 billion.
And rebranding it to X.
Yeah, with this grand vision of turning it into an everything app.
It's just, the sheer breadth is incredible. Tunnels, brains, space, cars, solar, social media.
Which brings us to, the man behind the myth, as the book sort of explores.
His work ethic is legendary, right? The 100-hour weeks.
Yeah, the biography definitely highlights that extreme work ethic and, again, that incredible tolerance for risk.
Yeah.
It's a level of commitment that's, frankly, hard for most people to even imagine.
But the book also covers the controversies, the legal fights, the things he says, his management style. It doesn't shy away from that.
Not at all. It presents him as, well, polarizing. Hugely influential, obviously, but also drawing significant criticism.
Does it try to connect those things? Like, are the things that make him successful also the things that cause controversy?
That's definitely the implication in the source.
Right.
It suggests that the very traits driving the breakthroughs, that audacity, the bluntness, the rule-breaking, are often the same traits that lead to friction, that clash with, standard corporate behavior or social norms.
2 sides of the same coin, maybe.
Kind of. It portrays this relentless drive that can be both incredibly productive and, at times, disruptive in less positive ways.
And despite everything, the controversies, the pressures, he's still pushing these massive goals.
Absolutely. Mars colonization is still on the table. AI-human symbiosis via Neuralink, sustainable energy through Tesla, redefining transport with boring company tunnels and Hyperloop concepts. It doesn't stop.
The epilogue of the source, what does it say about where things stand now, like 2025-ish?
It really sums it up by saying he's still relentlessly pushing boundaries. His work always seems to be straddling that line between science fiction and, well, actual engineering reality.
Whether it's Mars or humanoid robots or plugging brains into computers.
Exactly. It's all happening.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener, kind of taking in this whirlwind story?
Well, we've traced this journey, right, from a shy kid in South Africa using books and computers as an escape.
To this global figure who's literally actively reshaping multiple huge industries.
Yeah. The source calls his life a story of brilliance, audacity, obsession, and vision. He's undeniably shaping what the future looks like.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on based on this deep dive. Regardless of how you personally view Musk, his methods, his personality, what aspect of his relentless, almost single-minded pursuit of seemingly impossible, what part of that do you find most thought-provoking for your own understanding of innovation, risk, and maybe even human ambition itself?